Welcome to the channel. If you watch closely, you'll see that John Fix does not know the difference between a knife and a screwdriver. Ha ha ha. While you're here, beware of the pits.
Here's a knife made by the Decatur Coffin Company. This knife was patented in 1894 and had some interesting spiral grooves that were cut on the inside of the barrel here. And the purpose of this knife was for coffin manufacturing. Basically, it was made to screw the coffin lid down to the coffin. It's jokingly said that it's a one-way screwdriver, means it only goes in the forward position. And by jokingly, I mean it's said that you only need that coffin lid put on one time. You don't need to remove it. It has a nice, beautiful construction, a large black brass barrel, and of course the steel tip, and a nicely made wood handle. This was patented in 1884, and there were a lot of different varieties made over the years with different handles on them. I guess just to give it a little different look, but this one's got a nice handle. Looking forward to see how that one's going to finish. It just seems to be a little bit of problem with it. You can see when you push it in how that blade tip turns. It spins and turns, but it doesn't. The only way I know to retract it back is you pull straight back up. It does reverse, but you would have to hold it against a screw and then pull back. So I did notice there's an oil hole here. And so I'm going to put some oil in here and loosen it up in here to see if I can get this mechanism freed up. As much as we all like to use WD-40, that product wasn't around then. So I'm going to use some 3-in-1 oil here in the oiler hole to see if I can... And it said it's made so that oil stays inside, doesn't run down through the barrel. I don't know if it's going to loosen up any. We'll work it and see what happens. Now it seems to be spinning freely, but I don't know how it retracts. I'll have to work on it a little bit. Let me see if I can loosen it up a little bit with the oil. I'll get back to you, show you how it's working. Okay, I've loosened it up some with the oiling. If you push down on it, it spins, and then you lift up, it retracts. But I don't know how. I don't quite understand everything about it, but let me, I've drilled some small pilot holes here. And going to give it a test to see how it does. Sure do like Phillips head screws with magnetic drivers a lot more. To get it started here. And I'm going to give it a test here. The oil has loosened it up now to where you can see it spins. But I actually have to lift up on it and it will retract back into position. But it's a little odd the way it works. I've drilled some small pilot holes here, and I've got some small slotted screws I'm going to put in. I certainly prefer Phillips head magnetic bit tips and Phillips screws a lot more than these slotted screws. Let me get it started. Okay, I've got it started on there. I guess you just take the screwdriver and push down on it, and it drives the screw in, but I have to lift back up each time. This one just may be a little defective. It's old, I can't get it to work. I'll go online. I'll look for a while, but I couldn't find any particular directions on it. If you lift up each time, it retracts sometimes. When you push down, it drives the screw. But can't say it's a great item. For its time, I guess it was handy. I don't know how many coffin lids you screw down in a day. I don't see any way to get this apart. It's made together. I couldn't get this shank out of here. And you can see I got it loosened up some with the oil where it spins, and then when you lift up, it retracts back. You can see it there. But if you do that each time that you drive a screw in, you'll have to drive it down. Then you have to lift up and then put it back in the slot again and push again. I don't see the beauty in this thing. Must be more to it than I know, but maybe the mechanism worked a little differently. A perfect situation would be you drive the screw in, and then when you can retract it back, but when during the retracting, it turns backwards. By being a one-way, I thought it would automatically just retract. It will if you lift up, but then you got to put it back in the screw again each time. Seems a little awkward to me. I'll keep playing with it. Maybe I can get it to work a little better. You can see the oiling on it here did get some crud out of it, and it does spin a little freer. It turns and then retracts back when you lift it up, but still doesn't seem to be exactly right. And what I should have done probably from the start was used good old WD-40, because I think that 3-in-1 oil is not doing a lot of cleaning. It is lubricating it, and it's running through there. So we're going to revert back to the old standby WD-40. I think that might do a little better job on this. Seems to be loosening up. I'll work on it some more and be back. After a bunch of... The 3-in-1 oil didn't seem to be... It cleaned it some, but it still was gunky. And so I used a whole load of WD-40 and got this a little freer, but couldn't seem to get it operating right. It would go one way, but then not retract correctly. So I went ahead and took it apart. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do to get the guts out of here and get it working. I hated to take this down. Didn't want to destroy it, but it had to be put together this way and then assembled on the handle. So I'm going to attempt to finish disassembling this and see where it takes me. Okay, I got it apart and played with it and lubricated it. I still can't seem to... The problem is you can drive the screw in, but how do you make it retract back to the position without just lifting up off the work surface? And then it would only work in a down position. Of course, if I guess you're putting a coffin lid on, that's the direction you'd be going. This mechanism in here, I can see it moving inside. And the only way to really get this operating right is to take it completely apart, which means there's a little retainer bar put in here. I tried pulling it out and then looked closely, or cleaned on the end there, and found seems to be a pin that's holding it in there. So I'm going to drive that pin out, see if I can get this all the way apart without completely destroying it. Well, I managed to get it this far apart. That little retainer pin that went across here, I snapped it in half getting it out, but I can put another pin in here. This end comes up, and the little carrier that the bit fits on looks like this. It slides up and down the tube, but it doesn't come out any further. This screwdriver head on here prevents it from going any further back. And this doesn't unscrew, so to get this apart you would have to take this off. And I don't know how that was put on there, but it's permanent. There's no pin, there's no clip, there's nothing that holds. Here's the end of the little screwdriver bit right there. There's nothing that holds that on here. I don't know how it was fit on there. But this has precise little raised grooves on it here that fits down into the spiral portion of the barrel. So it will ride up and down and turn. And I had to drill that out to even get it this far, but there it is back down in the barrel. It slides up and down the barrel, as you can see. It's coming out there. And but I can't get it all the way apart, and if I do get it apart, the only mechanism in here is this screwdriver bit and this little carrier that fits in the grooves, and it's running up and down the grooves like it's supposed to, but I don't know how to make the screwdriver. The only way I know to make it work is what I showed you. You push down to turn the screw, and you lift up. You lift up to reset it, but if you lift up, you got to put it down on the screw again. So if that's the way this thing worked, I can't say it's a very great design. They made them for a lot of years. There must be something more to it than I know. I'll read and study up some more. In the meantime, I'll clean this up and get it back together and see if I make sure I haven't completely destroyed it here. Okay, I managed to get this Decatur Coffin screwdriver back together. Looks nice with the shined up shaft barrel here, and of course the polished screwdriver shaft and the handle cleaned up. I didn't refinish it, I just cleaned it up and waxed it. Did a little experimenting to try to see about using this, and I've got a screw started here in a little block of wood, and I've experimented a little and found out you can push down and it spins in. You lift up again and then you put it back in, but that's real awkward. So I did find out if you hold it with your, get it in place and hold it on the shaft here, you can push it in and then it'll pull back and reset. Then you push in again. So by holding this tip, it spirals, and then if you hold it, it'll pull back out. Maybe that's the way you do it. You hold it against the screw. Hold it against the screw, it spins, you pull back, spin, pull back. Sort of an awkward operation, but you know, for 1884, it was probably a good idea. The Yankee screwdriver came along, and of course, much better than this. You can get the job done, but I don't see a heck of a lot of benefit, to tell you the truth. It's just my opinion of it. Looks nice, novel idea for spinning the screws in. I don't know. I guess you're trying to animate an operation, but again, like I said before, how many coffin lids are you going to screw on in a day? That's my review. Thanks for looking at the little coffin screwdriver. Looks nice. Operation is not so good. Thanks for watching the video.